Hey everybody, quick recording here. Well, I don't know how quick it's going to be, but no edits, hopefully. Let's do this in one shot. I got my thesis template here. Notice that it's a .docx file, not a .docx file. So it's not a document. This is a Word template file. All you have to worry about is double-clicking on it. And what it's going to do, it's going to make a new document. Up here, you see document 4. If I go back, notice that I don't see this title in Word. I don't see thesis template anywhere in the title, okay? So if you see thesis template up here, it means that you opened the actual template file, you didn't make a Word document from that template. So just maybe close this, and then go back, double click, just really make sure that you're not editing the template, that you've made a document. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Save. Maybe I'll go Save As, and I'll just save it here as my thesis, making sure this is a .docx. This is going to be your document. Save. Now it's saved to your computer. We're good to go. So title page, everything is here. You're going to put in your title in French and in English, your name, month, year. I've tried to put where you're supposed to replace things in the square brackets. Same thing on the next page, the name, your supervisor's name, the external evaluator's name. Nothing crazy there. But perhaps you've noticed there's some weird symbols on the screen. You're seeing like this blue guy, this one here, section break, next page. What I want you to do, if you do not see those symbols, you're going to click on, so I'm in the Home tab right now, you're going to click on this kind of a backwards P icon. If I hover over it, okay, it doesn't really say what it is, but these are, I think they're called formatting markers. So if I click that, they disappear, and if I click it back, they're going to turn on. This is really, really crucial to have on because it's going to make your formatting life so much easier when you can actually see what is going on the page. Okay. You see I got a section break. So I'm splitting up the sections. So my title page, that's one section. My abstract, that's another section. Okay. And the reason why the sections are important is for the page numbering. So you'll see my abstract, I have my Roman numeral 1 here, but on my title pages, no page numbers. And so the way I was able to achieve that is using the sections. You don't really have to worry about the sections, but I want you to just be aware of them. And if I go down here, so resume, that's another section. That's going to be your French, the French version. Before I continue, on the bottom left, what I want you to click on is the page 4 of 20. And then in this little menu, you're going to click on this second tab, and this is your navigation. If you don't already have this on, this is killer for working in documents that are especially very long, because maybe you're, down here in your results, page, 60 or something, but then you think, oh, I got to go all the way back up to my abstract. So what do? You're going to scroll. But if you have the navigation view open, you can just click on abstract and it'll shoot you up to your abstract. Oh, I want to go back all the way down to my conclusion. I can click on that and I'm there. So it makes it really easy to navigate through the different chapters of your paper. Okay. So we're going to scroll down to the table of contents. So the table of contents has all been set up for you. You don't have to really fiddle with this. The only thing that you're going to have to do is update it. Okay, so I'm just going to right click anywhere on the table of contents and I'm going to go update field. And I like to update the entire table because things have shifted around. We're going to have different headings and everything like that. So I'm going to hit OK. And so nothing really has changed, but we're going to be adding things in the future. So you'll see how that's going to change in the future. Okay, another section break. So that's the end of my table of contents. Now I'm starting my list of tables. Right now we don't have any tables, so it's going to say no table of figures found. And the list of figures, again, no table of figures found. Word calls both a table of tables and a table of figures a table of figures. So that's why up here it says table of figures. So don't worry about that. Another page break. Your list of acronyms, you're going to have to add that in manually, of course. Your acronyms will be different. And then we get to the introduction. Okay. Notice no page number on the introduction. If I scroll down, problem statement, no page number on the problem statement. That's because, as per the University of Sherbrooke guidelines, the first page of each chapter or each section does not start with the page number. But you don't have to worry about the page numbers. I've already taken care of that for you. So here, let's say I have some text, and I'm writing the intro to my thesis, ... Okay, just to show you, I want to go down to the next, I want to go to the next page now. Maybe a lot of you are used to just hitting the enter key a bunch of times to go down and, starting a new page. I don't want you to do that, okay? I instead want you to use what's called a page break. So if I go to layout and I go to breaks, you'll see here I have lots of different kinds of breaks, but the first one's called just a simple page break. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll see what it does is I'm writing the intro to my thesis, ... It inserted that page break, and now it started me on the next page. Okay, so you can see now page number 2 of my introduction has the correct numbering. And the important thing about using page breaks is, let's say this should be the first sentence on the first line of this page. Okay. If we did not use the page break, okay, let me remove the page break. This is what happens. I'm going to go enter, 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 the way that you might think to do this. So this should be the first sentence on the first line of this page. So what happens is, if we go back here, if I keep writing and blah, blah, let me just copy that, right? So if I keep writing blah, 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 right? I'm writing, okay? What happens is I put all this beautiful content in my introduction. If I scroll down, what happened to this sentence? You see how it got pushed down? This should be the first line on this page. We don't want our content to get pushed down or get pulled up as we are editing things in our document. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all of these new lines, okay? And instead, I'm going to go to break. So under the layout menu, breaks, and I'm going to put a page break. Okay, so now this is going to be the first line of this page. So I can continue to blah, 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 right? And no matter how many words I put on this page, you see that it doesn't affect this line on this page. So page breaks are your friend. Please use them. You're going to have to use them for when you have, let's say, your tables and your figures that need to start on new pages. Okay, so that's your introduction. All the sections look similar in that they have the heading, and then I put a space for you to copy paste your content. So the next thing I want to talk about are styles. So I'm going to go to the home menu, and you're going to see along the top here, there's the styles menu. Okay, now if I kind of pull this down to show you all the styles, you have tons of styles here. Word gives you tons of styles by default. I've ripped all those out of the template, and I've given you only the styles that you need for APA 7 for this context. So we have normal text. Normal text is just what goes in your paragraphs. You got your chapter heading, your level 1, your level 2, level 3, and level 4 headings. Okay, so for example, if I click on problem statement, you will see what is highlighted, chapter heading, because that's what it is. It's a chapter heading. If I click on normal, you'll see that it turns this into the normal APA 7 text. And notice there's actually an indent here. It's probably hard to see, but there's an indent here because the first line of every new paragraph should start with an indent. So all you have to do is click on normal when you're writing your normal paragraphs. But this is a chapter heading, so I'm going to click chapter heading, and it's going to turn into a chapter heading. Notice that it automatically capitalizes it, and it also puts it into the left-hand side navigation, so that you can click on it to navigate down here. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be copy-pasting your content into this template, right? So I'm just going to copy some text that I have off screen, and I'm going to paste it here. And notice what happens is that actually, so this is okay. It's actually matched the formatting that I want. It's made these normal paragraphs. But let's say, for example, that you pasted this in and, it didn't have the indent and, maybe it was a different font and let's say it was a different, color or something. So let's say you paste it in from your document and, the formatting gets all messed up. You don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is you're just gonna highlight your paragraphs. Actually, you don't even have to highlight them. As long as your cursor is just somewhere within the paragraph, okay, and you click on normal, it will turn it into Times New Roman, right? 12-point font. It'll put that leading indent, and you just do the same for all your paragraphs. Okay, and then I'll get rid of this new line because we're not supposed to have a new line there. So really, I want you to heavily use the styles here. Try to minimally, like manually format as little as you can, and use the style, the preset styles here. So speaking of the preset styles, we got the level 1, level 2, level 3 headings. So let's say that, I have a little preamble here and I want this one to be a, I don't want the level 1, let's call this level 1 heading. Okay. Now I don't want it to put a tab there, so I'm going to undo the automatic numbering. So I want this to be a level 1 heading. Okay. I want it to show up in my navigation and I also want it to show up in my table of contents. So all you do is you just put your cursor anywhere where your heading is, and you're going to click on level 1 heading, and it's going to automatically align it where it's supposed to be, and it's going to put it into your navigation. And if we go to the table of contents, so problem statement, I'm just going to right click, update entire table, and you're going to see now in the problem statement we have our level 1 heading. Okay, and that works for all the headings. So if I had, see, it keeps if it does this when you hit the enter key and it auto corrects your thing because it thinks you're making a list, just click on this little box and say undo automatic numbering. Okay, so here, let's say I'm like tabbed over for whatever reason, and I write 1.1 level 2 heading. Okay, I'm going to click level 2 heading up here, and it should, oh, okay, I lied to you. Let's do that again. 1.1 level 2 heading. Level 2. See how it bolds it, because that is what a level 2 heading needs. 1.1.1 will be a level 3 heading. Okay, go here, level 3. Okay, notice how it's italicized. And then finally 1.1.1.1 is a level 4 heading. Okay, you guessed it, go here, level 4 heading. And now notice that because level 4 headings should be indented by 1.25 centimeters as per the specifications, it has indented this. 1 through 3 are not indented, but level 4 is. And you'll see beautifully on the navigation here, all of our headings show up. So if we wanted to quickly go to one, a particular heading, we could do that. Okay, back to the table of contents, right click, update entire table, and you'll see we have all of our headings there with the proper formatting. Okay, so the takeaway here is don't manually, bold or italicize or indent. Use the preset styles that you have here, because if you use the preset styles, it'll take care of putting it in the left-hand side navigation, and also it'll automatically show up in your table of contents when you refresh the table of contents. Okay, let's go on to the tables and figures. So I'm going to go down to results, and because that's probably where most of your tables and figures are going to go. And so in my results, I'm going to go up to insert table. Let's put in, for example, a table like this. Actually, wait, let me undo that. I'm going to just backspace so that I'm at the left edge here. I don't want it to be indented. Insert table, going to put in a 3x3 table, and I'll just make up some data. That's definitely my phone number. You can try calling it. 514. Okay, so you don't have to worry about styling your table because I've made a preset APA table for you. So up here, so you just want to have your cursor somewhere in the table itself. Go up to table design if that's not already selected. And then you'll see if I hover over this, it says APA 7. So you just click on that and you'll see that it gets rid of the vertical bars and the horizontal bars in the body of the table. And then one more thing I like doing, I like to select everything and I like to single space it. I think in the table it actually looks better when it's single spaced. And so there you go. If you want to, so this is APA-ified, but if you want to go ahead and like center some of your columns and edit it from here, you can. But just know that for a quick APA table, you can use the APA 7 pre-designated style there. Okay, so that's my table. One special thing I want you to note is when I put my cursor like this, you see how the 1 becomes kind of shaded? That means that it's been registered as a table. And what that means is that if I go to the styles here, just to kind of show you, the caption has been automatically selected. Caption is important because that's how it's going to show up in our list of tables. So if I go up to list of tables here and I right click and I say update field, you'll see now the table has appeared there. If you want the name of the table to appear, so if I go back down to results, I'm going to put make sure it's at the end of table 1 here, and I'm going to go shift enter, and you're going to see the shift enter puts a little kind of arrow symbol like that. And now I can say, let's say the name of my table is contact information. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that whole line, and instead of bolding it, I'm going to italicize it as per APA. So table 1 should be bold. The name of the table should be italics. And if we go back up to the table of tables, and I refresh this, you will see that it'll now say table 1 contact information. So it'll have the name of the table in there. And if you want your table to be, not indented, I think I made a mistake there. Just kind of, you can remove that indent. Let's go back to results. So I have my table, but we should have, it says that you must precede your table with, so I'm going to go, normal text. The results of this, intervention are, contained in table 1. But let's say that you had a lot of text. So let me actually go back and grab my filler text here. And I put it kind of like, let's get rid of this one. So let's say, let me get another line here. Let's say you had something like this, right? Where, you have your results and you're going to say the results of this intervention are contained in table 1, but then, your table is spanning multiple lines. So what you want to do, this is a good opportunity to use that page break. So with my cursor here, layout, breaks, page, and now you see that it shoots the table down to the next page. Usually what happens is it creates a new line, and then the table, I just like to get rid of that so it starts right at the top of the page. And another thing you can do, this isn't required, but if we go up to references, what I'm going to be doing for my paper is I want all of my references to my tables and figures and appendices to be cross-referenced. So if I highlight table 1 and I hit cross-reference, I'm going to go and I'm going to click on table, and I'm going to click on table 1, contact information. I don't want the entire caption to be displayed in the sentence, just the label and number. So I'm going to click on that, insert as hyperlink, insert, close. Now you'll see you won't really see a difference, but if I hover over table 1, you see my mouse becomes a cursor, and if I click on it, it'll take me to table 1. So it's a nice way for someone who's reading your paper. Maybe, you know, later in your paper, you make mention of a figure, perhaps that was earlier in your paper. If you cross-reference it, when they click on it, they can quickly go back to that table or figure. Okay. Speaking of figures, so maybe we have, this is a great figure, and I'm going to display it below in figure 1. Okay, and then I can, just really quickly, I'll just take a screenshot of, let's say, my outline. I'll put that here. So let's say this is my figure 1. We need to notice that for figures, we don't have the automatic, like with tables, it automatically gave us this caption, right? So what we need to do is we have to manually put that in. So I'm going to say figure 1, and this is called, let me go back to home. So I want to say, I just type out the word. Actually, no, I don't type it out. What am I doing? I want to go into references, insert caption, and I don't want to insert a table caption. I want to insert a figure caption, figure 1, and we can hit OK. And you'll see now it's appeared here. Same thing, shift enter, and this is the word outliner view, if that was the name of my figure here. So I'm going to make sure that I don't bold it, italicize it, okay? And so now that we've set this up properly, and if I click on 1, you see that it has that shading. That means that the caption formatting is there. Go back up to my list of figures, right click, update, and you'll see that I now have figure 1, the word outliner view. I can click there and it'll shoot me back down to the figure. Okay, what is next? Tables and figures, cross-referencing, did the headings, did the table of contents. Okay, equations and non-breaking spaces and hyphens. You may have read in the style guide about the non-breaking spaces. So it talks about non-breaking spaces for things like when you have percent signs and dollar signs, and it kind of explains here, and also when you have equations, and non-breaking hyphens for when you need to make sure that your line isn't broken by the hyphen. So if we go back, just to kind of give you an example of that. So let's say I had an example here of, this, thing, or this and that. Okay, so I have a hyphen here, and if I try to get this to break, now you see that this hyphen, that, so that, we call that a breaking, it has broken. Okay, it's Word decided to break the sentence on the hyphen. What the style guide is talking about is we want particular things that contain hyphens. For example, I should just use the example that I use, because in my study I used a t-test, and so the word t-test should not be displayed t-new line test. So to use a non-breaking hyphen, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to go up to insert, advanced symbol, special character, and you'll see here there's a non-breaking hyphen. Okay, so I'm just going to go insert, and now you'll see that t-test is on one line. And you can do that with spaces as well. So for example, if we had an equation, so p less than 0.05, if I can get that to break. For example, something like this. So this, if you're reporting p-values, p less than 0.5, you should be using non-breaking spaces so that all this appears always together on one line. And to do that, you're going to highlight the space that's between the p and the less than, advanced symbol. Here we're going to go to non-breaking space, insert, close, same thing here, after the less than, advanced, special, non-breaking space, insert, and now you see that. And this is why having those formatting characters, these guys, right? This mode is so important because we can see now the difference between a non-breaking space, it's this kind of, circular character, and just a regular space, which is just a dot. Okay. And furthermore, for any equations that you have, such as this, you actually want them to be displayed in kind of equation formatting. So I've highlighted the equation here, p is less than 0.05. I'm going to go up to equation. I'm just going to click on this, and you'll see that it has put it in kind of, like the P is a fancier P. It's the font that they want for equations. Okay, and maybe I can wrap that in parentheses or something. So non-breaking spaces and non-breaking hyphens, that's how you do that. Last but not least, I'm just going to talk about references. So if you've been using Zotero like I recommend, then your Zotero will perhaps look something like this. Here are all the references that I have for my thesis. And so how to insert these into Word is I'm going to go back to Word here, and you'll see one of the tabs at the top is the Zotero tab. And if you don't have that, you can go to the Zotero website and just look for the Zotero Word plugin. Once you have that installed, let's say in my conclusion, I'll give you some filler text again. Here, okay, and let's say that after this, at the end of this sentence, we want to put in a citation. So I'm going to go to Zotero, add edit citation, and what that's going to do is if you get this window, you'll just have to click on, make sure you clicked 7th edition, and then you can hit OK. And then what this little red search bar is going to pop up. So let's say that I wanted to put in, one reference I have a lot in mind is Indriasari. And I actually have several from Indriasari. We see 2021, 2020, 2023. So let's say I wanted the 2020 study and I also wanted the 2023 study. Okay, so let's say I select both of them. I hit enter, and you'll see now it's put in the correct in-text citation format, Indriasari et al., 2020, 2023. We can have multiple authors. We can have, let's say I had Salin, and I don't know, we can put in Deci. You'll see that it correctly puts in the year, the semicolon, and if it's two authors, it'll correctly put in the ampersand. So once you have your citations in there, and you'll know they've been correctly put in by Zotero if when you click on them, they kind of are shaded like that. And so what we can do now is if we go down to our references, I'm just going to click here. In my Zotero tab again, I go add edit bibliography. And you'll see it's going to scan my whole document for any citations that I put in, and it'll put the actual full reference at the bottom here. And if I were to go back and let's say I, remove this one, and maybe I put in a, I don't know, a Hattie. Okay. And if I scroll down, you will see that the Indriyasari references have automatically disappeared, and the Hattie I just put in has appeared. And if it's not automatically refreshing, you can simply click the refresh up here and it will refresh your references. So I hope that's helpful. Appendices, I put the appendices, this is the last thing. So if you have multiple appendices, you have to put appendices and then a whole page, and then your first appendix starts here. So you'll notice that Appendix A actually is a level 1 heading. That's why it's showing up in the outline. And so what you might want to do, let's say in your conclude wherever, maybe you want to say, please see Appendix A. I'm kind of repeating myself, but if we want to link the word Appendix A to the actual page, we're going to go up to References, Cross-Reference. This time we'll go to Headings, and we'll find the Appendix A heading. We'll go Insert, Close, and now you see that Appendix A has turned into a link. I click on it, it takes me down to Appendix A. So I hope I haven't forgotten anything. This video has turned very long, but hopefully helpful. And I'll try to put timestamps at the bottom so you can kind of jump around the video for the different things you might need. But if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can shoot me an email, and hopefully we can get this done. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.